Hello, my name is Eric Berner Rocha Campos. You can tell that I'm a Latino because of how many names I actually have. More specifically, my parents are Brazilian, and I was born and raised as the oldest of 5 children who all have 4 names. Both my parents were born in the same small town in Brazil, only a month apart. They went to school together and even immigrated to Massachusetts here in the United States at around the same time in '99. And then when they recognized each other at church, something which at the time they both didn't think too much of, they decided to go on a date, which led to the domino effect of me speaking to you right now. I was born in 2005 in Massachusetts, and when I was 2, we moved to Florida briefly before moving back up north. Then in the summer of 2020, in the middle of COVID, we moved back to the south of Florida because of family, only to move a little bit more north to Jacksonville a year later because it's still within Florida, with family, but we also had better business for my dad who's a truck driver with Jacksonville Sport and everything. While in Jacksonville, I really started to grow into my faith more and started to participate in the church for my own reasons instead of simply because my family was Catholic. At Bishop John J. Snyder High School here in the diocese, I became a Eucharistic minister, and at my parish I started teaching CCD, something which I did for 3 years total. I decided on CCD because in Massachusetts I had taught elementary schoolers how to play their instruments in an after-school program, and I discovered my love of teaching there. The Eucharistic minister service was because I wanted to participate in the liturgy in a different way to altar serving, which I also really enjoyed. It was in Jacksonville that I started my vocation in a more formal way. While I was raised in an environment where the idea of priesthood was a legitimate option, it was always an open door, but one that I never really considered. But when we moved to Jacksonville, our now vocation director was still on his first assignment at a parish, which houses Jacksonville's Brazilian community, St. Joseph's. Father Clay Ludwig started me on the path of intentional discernment and led me further once he was vocation director soon after. After my senior year, I was still unsure if seminary was for me, and while I was willing to give it a try, our vocation director advised me to go to college for a year or 2 and see if I still felt that way afterwards. When I went to college, I went to St. Leo, a small Catholic university near Tampa. There, I immediately started participating in the student campus ministry, became so involved that they wanted me to give me a student position my sophomore year. I helped a senior classmate start a homeless ministry, and I helped at almost every event that we held. I also did music ministry there and more as a Eucharistic minister. It was at St. Leo where I really had my first group of Catholic friends who actually cared about the faith. I'm happily still in contact with them to this day. Having that group certainly helped me in so many ways that only the Lord knows the true scope of influence that they had on me. I want to be a priest because I have come to realize that I have a huge passion for service, especially in teaching and helping the homeless. That is on top of all the little hints God has given me all the time, like comments of, you should think about the priesthood, or how he placed the right people in my life to lead me in that direction at the right times. While I don't know if I will become a priest, though I do hope so, God willing, I do know that the seminary is where God wants me to be at this moment of my life. I've already learned and grown so much in this 1 year, and I pray that in the end, God's will is done, not my own. And if you aren't sure what God might be calling you to, whether it be his priesthood, the religious life, or anything else, then maybe consider coming to Queen of Peace's Vocations Night. The event is open to everyone, and is simply there to open the doors to let you know that there are options out there. It's going to be Friday, July 10th, starting with a 6 p.m. Mass, and we'll have dinner, talks by priests and religious, opportunities for questions and discussions with people in similar boats who have been in a similar boat in the past. Thank you for your time, consideration, and prayers.